Hello listeners, my name is Casey and I am the host of The Cult Vault, a podcast that looks into some of history's most notorious cults. Join me as I look at cults, cult behaviour, and dive deep into the psyche of some of the heinous leaders of these movements. Listen to interviews with survivors and testimonies from those who have been affected by these sects, but live to tell their stories. If you enjoy well-researched, no-nonsense accounts, you will enjoy this podcast. Join me on all major streaming platforms at The Cult Vault. I hope to hear from you soon.
In Chicago, two comedian skeptics named Andy and Art were mysteriously abducted by the illusionary mastermind and conspiracy theorist known only as Mr. Bunker. The following serves as a record of Bunker's attempt to convince non-believers of the truth about conspiracies and paranormal activity. Andy and Art give an uninterrupted presentation and verdict on the plausibility of these offbeat topics, delivering what they call the whole enchilada. Will Mr. Bunker convince these two skeptics any of this is real? Will it convince you?
Welcome to Mr. Bunker's Conspiracy Time podcast. As always, I'm your co-host, Arthur Stone, and with me as always is your co-host, Andy Hart.
Ahoy hoy!
Ahoy hoy, Sailor Andy. Good to see you again.
Nice to see ye as well.
Yarr.
You scurvy rascal.
Andy, I don't even want to take up any more time because today is the weirdest day we've had in the bunker by far. Wouldn't you say?
I'd say on a scale of 1 to weird, this one is weird.
Listeners, you are in for a big old nasty thick daddy treat because when we showed up to the bunker today, Andy, there's a special guest.
Yeah. We came to the bunker and we weren't just alone, the two of us.
That's right. Let's not waste any more time. Our guest today is an actor and comedian at Second City Chicago and IO Chicago. Please welcome to the bunker, Jimmy Gribbin. Hello, Jimmy.
Wow, Jimmy. Clap.
How are we doing, guys?
Hi, Jimmy.
Hi,
Jimmy.
Thank you for having me.
Welcome to the bunker.
Rooster.
That's right. Your nickname is Rooster.
Rooster.
Jimmy, first of all, I feel like we should apologize. I can't help but feel like Mr. Bunker abducting you on a Sunday morning is somehow Andy and I's fault. He's coming after our friends. We've known you for a long time. You're a good friend of ours. And I just feel like, I don't know, Andy, don't you think it's kind of...
I mean, to be fair, we did give Mr. Bunker your address.
Yes.
And we've been very vocal in our fondness for you. To Mr. Bunker.
Now, real quick, before we get into how... every week, the titular Mr. Bunker captures us in some new and interesting weird way. But first, the story we are talking about today is a story out of Arizona. It's the story of the Red Ghost of Arizona. It's a really great cryptid ghost story. If you're interested in it, listeners, look in the show notes, find the timestamp. You can skip right ahead to the research. I don't think you should, because we're going to talk to Jimmy a little bit and pick his brain a little bit, and we're going to get to know him. But if you want to skip right ahead to the research, go ahead and find that timestamp. But first, now, Andy, you and I were captured in the most boring way possible. Mr. Bunker picked us up in a white van, practically, let us in as if we were, being arrested for, tax fraud or something. Something... where it's like, all right, I give myself white-collar crimes. You know what I'm saying?
I felt like he was my friend's mom picking me up after soccer practice today. It was gentle.
Yeah.
It was tender.
No bonking on the head, no baking us into pies, no fucking, dressing up in weird, elaborate costumes for us.
Right.
Jimmy,
No scary puppets.
Jimmy, you weren't so lucky.
I was not.
Bunker got you in a... You got welcome to the bunker.
You got the bunker
in style.
treatment.
Yeah, I got the red carpet.
You got bunkered.
Essentially, I'm prone to joining guerrilla rebel armies, and so I was in French Canada, in Quebec, and Sherbrooke, And I
Okay,
joined
and
this-
just for vacation or just for
Business or pleasure?
I know a business. I had heard that there was some
business au pleasure?
business pleasure, mon petit chou.
My business is pleasure.
Hopefully both on this trip. It was. I had been told about an uprising, a People's Liberation Front going on in Quebec. So I went out there to help out.
Okay. What exactly were they trying to liberate there?
This is like
Quebec.
French like Quebecois independence.
Bingo,
Was it-
bingo. Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, the French want to be their own separate country.
Their own country. They're upset about the Nordiques being moved to Colorado and the NHL move. A lot of things. So,
Oh, I wasn't even aware.
yeah.
The Quebecois have been hungry for independence for a while, Art.
Yeah.
And this is called the Trail of Syrup.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, sure.
Moving the team down there.
Oh, is
yeah.
is that actual?
It's right up there with the Trail of Tears as
Yep.
far
Yeah.
as atrocity.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, it sounds high in line moving an NHL team.
Yeah.
But they
Anyway.
I got out there and I started.
So you heard about this on the internet and you just were like, I'm going.
No, I saw it in a what are those in the newspapers?
Uh-huh.
A
story.
Not a class. I guess classifieds.
A classified ad.
Yeah.
You saw a classified ad recruiting for
I try
Quebecois independence militia.
I try not to do too much on the internet because a lot of stuff can be fake.
Right,
But I feel like
right.
if you're going to go through the effort of putting something in a newspaper, this in print.
It has,
Yeah.
and as we all know, ads in the newspaper are vetted.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
it's
Quite
not
a
the New
bit.
York Times. It's a valid source.
Somebody reviewed it.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. Okay, so and you decided to drop your busy acting and comedy career to go join a guerrilla movement in Quebec.
It's either them or the Kurds, and I don't speak Kurdish. So
Do you speak French?
No, but
Oh.
they can meet me with English.
can pass.
Halfway.
I can get away with a French,
Yeah.
Spanish accent.
Okay, so you're up there in Quebec,
Yeah.
and then what happens, Jimmy?
I get tickets to go to the Montreal Canadiens game, which was
Okay.
the rival team when the Nordiques were there. So I get to the arena, and turns out it's not an arena. It's an IHOP, and there's a man waiting for me there with a plane ticket. And he says, listen, we have another faction to this already faction. They're going to be having a meeting in an undisclosed place. And so I get in this, what he says is a plane, but it's clearly a helicopter because it's got a propeller on top.
Yeah, I mean that's kind of
Okay, that's a giveaway.
I was
giveaway
like-
number one, Jimmy.
I thought it might have been a Harrier, like in True Lies. I
Oh
thought,
yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
thought the propeller was going to go down. And
Like
so I
one of
get
these
this
vertical
helicopter.
takeoff landing.
Like an
yeah.
osprey?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I get
Fucking
in
told you.
this
Yeah.
plane, quote unquote, and they give me a Snickers bar for because you get queasy and Snickers is good. You get a little bit of sugar and you don't get
Is that true?
yeah.
I never
If
heard of that.
you've ever been in the military, you know that chocolate bars are usually what they give you. And so I did a couple years here and there, French Foreign Legion and a couple other sources I'd rather not talk about.
Wow, this is oh wow, I'm learning a lot about Jimmy today.
Essentially, you know how kids get razor blades in their candies?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, big problem in Halloween.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got a big old something in there that knocked me out.
Oh, okay.
Quaalude or fucking some
Something.
downers.
Roofies?
Absolutely.
Some downers.
And so here I am.
Wow.
Wow.
Bunker drugged you with chocolate.
You know what
Putain.
this is a lot like this is a lot like Buck Cherry. This is like Bunk Sherry
No, this isn't like that at all. What are you
because
talking
it's
about? Woo!
You're a crazy bitch, that guy?
yeah.
Yeah, I love Bunk Cherry.
Bunker faked his own Buck Cherry band, and now he's faking his own People's Liberation Army in Quebec.
Wow.
Oui, monsieur.
Shock Ray Blue.
Yeah, yeah, shock. Yeah,
I'm Shock Ray Blued.
Chakra blue,
Blu-ray
la-ba-dee-da-bo-da.
Wow, Jimmy. Well, I can't help but I'm sorry. I hope that
wow.
whatever drugs he gave you don't
Give you
impact
diarrhea.
your health or give you diarrhea.
I'm good right now.
Okay.
I'm feeling
There
sane.
is a toilet here in the bunker, but you should be warned that
It's
there is-
open-faced.
There's an open-faced toilet. There's an open concept toilet.
Sure.
There's no walls around it. It's just sitting next to the kitchen down here in the bunker.
It's a gulag pot.
Yeah,
That's what we
yeah,
call them.
basically.
I mean, that's
yeah.
that's
when
a
in
harsher
Siberia,
way,
yeah.
Yeah, I
harsher
mean,
way to put it.
yeah, I mean,
Andy
it
and I
is.
have both blasted that toilet to hell and back.
We've
so.
had, yeah, we've had diarrhea so bad that it's felt like our colons traveled forward in time, and we're shitting out things we hadn't eaten yet.
The gruel looks better in the toilet than it did going in.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
You're talking to me and the food down here. Well, Jimmy, while we're down here, I mean, we might as well make the best of it, right?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So, Jimmy, as you know, this is Mr. Bunker's Conspiracy Time podcast. I guess just in general, we know what's your kind of any big major conspiracies you're kind of familiar with? Do you find yourself to be more of a believer or a skeptic in those certain things? I mean, feel free to answer the question. In general, it's freeform.
I say
have fun with it.
I'm like 50-50 on them.
You're 50-50 on them.
I think there are some that make sense. Flat Earth, I don't partake in that. Like,
Sure.
That's a ridiculous one. But like ones that are proven to be true, I always get a little frustrated. I'm like, see, that's why you gotta.
And
take
you
each
have
one.
a podcast where you've digged into a couple of major conspiracies as well, right?
Yeah.
You've done some things on like Illuminati stuff, maybe some MK Ultra stuff.
Yes.
It's
the Illuminati one. I feel like that's such a given because we have a currency that has weird stuff on it. You know what I mean? Like we have a freaking pyramid with an eye on it.
Right,
Like,
right. The third eye.
There's nothing but conspiracy with that. Or just like, I don't know, ancient fraternity guys trying to figure out a way to...
Masons.
Yeah.
So you tend to be 50-50 when it comes to like believer skeptic kind of stuff.
Yeah, I've gone back and forth on 9/11.
Okay.
I still don't. I might change, just like my voting.
Wow, on the fence.
We have
history.
never we have never dug into the major topic that is 9/11 was an inside job.
Yeah.
It is a bit of a fun meme that a lot of people like to use. But
Sure.
we've never really looked into it, but that's interesting that you're kind of 50-50. Okay.
Yeah.
So you're down to play.
Oh, yeah,
You'll bat. You'll come to bat.
Life is more fun when you believe in conspiracy theories.
Oh.
Ghosts are fun.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
I'm not saying they're not fun. I just don't believe in it.
I know. I'm just giving you shit, Andy.
I like the Flatwoods Monster, but it's not real, Art.
We love the Flatwoods Monster.
The Flatwoods Monster's great.
Yeah, Flatwoods Monster's great.
Where is the Flatwoods Monster?
Flatwoods, West Virginia.
Interesting. Is that a subspecies of Bigfoot?
No, it's a
Who knows?
Allegedly, perhaps a extraterrestrial being.
Oh.
It has a metallic cylindrical body, a big red head, a round head with glowing eyes, and a giant hooded cowl and long, pointy arms.
Okay. Interesting.
It's probably a barn owl, is what it actually is. It's a barn owl.
It's probably a barn owl. It was an owl.
But it's a great story if you ever want to look into it.
Yeah.
So you mentioned ghost stories. So have you ever had any paranormal experiences, Jimmy? Anything like that? Have you ever experienced it firsthand? You saw a ghost.
Firsthand, the only thing I've ever come... No, there's two things. Well, maybe three. No, two. Two things.
Okay, we're getting mixed signals here already.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can see 50-50 on this, too.
One of them just could have been hormones. I don't know what.
Okay. What were you on, Jimmy?
I was completely sober. I was 15. I'd never done a drug in my life. And I was just laying in my bed. Honest to God, I wasn't, doing any extraterrestrial activities or anything.
Jerking off. Okay.
And
so you were jerking off.
Yeah.
I would tell you if I was jerking off. I don't even think I hadn't gone through puberty yet at 15. So
Wow.
I was a late
Really?
bloomer. Yeah.
Wow.
And so
How tall were you?
maybe I've had two puberties in my life. The first one, I think I started going at like 14. I wasn't cranking until like 16, 17.
Wow, okay.
Also because I was Catholic and I was worried.
Oh,
I get that.
Okay.
I'm with you on that, my dude.
Yeah, it's
Same thing.
I had a buddy who didn't crank one till he was 19 because he was that Catholic.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's scary stuff. We talk about religion a lot.
Yeah. That's I feel like
Because, listeners, I'm just saying that Jimmy is like, what, you're like 6'4"?
6'4", just like
Yeah.
Clint Eastwood. Yeah.
Jimmy does a great Clint Eastwood impression, too.
People don't like it. People try and cancel him.
Oh, yeah. They don't like Clint Eastwood, but your impression should not be canceled.
No, thank you. I appreciate that.
Oh, wow, Clint Eastwood here.
Welcome to the bunker, Mr.
How
Eastwood.
did I get in the bunker? So I'm laying in my bed. I think I might have just been reading like a comic or something.
Okay.
And I just hear this loud bang on the side of my wall from the front yard because my bedroom faced the front yard. There's nothing out there. My window was open. And I had a Detroit Red Wings 2002 championship plaque, and it fell off the wall, and it was like it was in with a nail, and it fell off and landed on my face. And I always thought that was weird. I was home alone. My parents weren't there. There weren't any kids around. So that was an interesting thing that happened.
Okay.
Just this loud like thud, but never anything else happened like that. Okay. And then my girlfriend at the time had two cats. And Whiskey and Tango were their names.
Oh, great names
Nice.
for cats.
Yes. And they would both
Foxtrot, Unicorn, Charlie Kilo. You know what I'm saying?
We got him, ladies and gentlemen. We got Osama. That was the signal that they said when they're in Pakistan.
Fuck.
I don't know.
That's what I just said.
Wait,
is it unicorn or is it uniform?
I don't know.
Fuck, I can't remember.
I
Foxtrot.
think it's unicorn in June.
Charlie. Kilo. Anyway.
Kilo.
All right. Sorry, Jimmy. Continue
No
your
worries.
story.
And the two cats, every now and again, they would both be looking at something up at like the ceiling, and both of their eyes and heads would move and like follow something around. They would be like standing next to each other and just like staring at something moving around.
Cats are fucking stupid.
Yes.
And I can say that because I live with one. I don't know. That's a weird one. You know, I mean, cats, they do say that animals have a stronger sense for the paranormal.
And earthquakes and all that stuff.
And earthquakes, which are also paranormal. Earthquakes, not real.
I don't believe in earthquakes.
California, quit your bitching.
I know a lot of people have died, quote unquote, from earthquakes, but I say dig a little deeper.
It's a false flag operation.
Yeah.
It's the mole people. Okay, so those are interesting. I don't know how ghostly those are. I don't want to shit all over you, Jimmy, but...
Wow.
The second one's a ghost. It's got to be. What
The
else would
cats?
be moving around?
Oh, who knows? Some tiny bug.
I can see any bug you present.
Well, cats...
There's not a bug
Cats
invented
have
that I
very
can't
good
spot.
eyesight.
They do.
What about aliens, Jimmy? You're from Arizona.
Yeah.
People don't...
Tucson.
Jimmy is from Tucson, Arizona. That's where you hail from. You're a desert guy.
Yeah.
You're a desert boy.
rat,
Desert rat.
as we call ourselves.
The desert is known for weird alien stuff. Famously, Roswell, New Mexico. And many other alien experiments have happened out there. That mogul weather balloon experiment was kind of out in the desert, right, Andy?
Yeah, that's why it ended up at Roswell.
That's right. So have you ever had any kind of weird alien or UFO experiences out there in the desert? You know, you're out there with your buddies, you're taking peyote.
Yeah.
You're doing hiking trips that you do. This is what I assume all kids from the desert do. Or that, or you're cooking up meth in a trunk with Aaron Paul.
That, yeah. And then jumping into rivers and canyons, doing like, what do you just free base diving? Is that what?
Free balling.
Yes. Yeah.
Free balling into a
Free
big,
balling into a ravine.
into a big canyon of water. I think I've seen aliens once, and we were in Mexico, still desert, and we were in the back of a pickup all laying down.
Because you have family in Mexico.
Yeah, I was the only one born in the U.S. until my aunt had kids.
Okay.
But yeah, we would always just go down to visit my family in Mexico. And we were there's like 6 of us kids laying in the back of a pickup going from one house to another.
That's fun.
Yeah, this is the 90s, so like...
Yeah, you're not wearing seatbelts.
The left hadn't won that war yet. You can still do whatever you wanted with your own property. And so we were all laying in the back, and then my cousin Claudia, she noticed that like some of these stars that we thought were stars started to move back and forth together.
Okay.
And then so all of us were seeing these lights going back and forth, and like they were just all shifting, going in and out with each other. There was like 8 of them. And that lasted about like 10 minutes, and then... Like, I just remember distinctly looking at them, and then all of a sudden they just weren't there anymore.
Wow.
So
Yeah. That's a very classic UFO sighting right there.
That's pretty interesting. Yeah, I've never had any fucking UFO or ghost experiences.
No, me either.
I don't know. Maybe it's just you have to be out in the desert. Maybe the desert's just a little bit more prone to that kind of
a
shit.
little more quiet.
It's a little quiet out there. You can actually see the stars.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
We've
got too much light pollution.
It's light, and then I bet because the Pacific Ocean is close by that you can just get out there.
Yeah, it's true.
As a UFO.
Okay. All right, Andy, you got any questions for Mr. Jimmy Gribbins?
Jimmy, what do you feel like is the most odd or the most tenuous conspiracy theory that you're all in on?
Ooh, that's a good question.
Like, what's the most fringe one that you're like, that's a fucking fact? Because let's give you a little basis here, Jimmy. You know, we've done like 30-ish episodes, 31 episodes of this show. And I'd have to say it skews towards, we're almost always like, it's not plausible.
I'm almost never convinced by anything.
We rate the show on a scale of plausibility.
Yeah.
How plausible is this thing? Some things are a little more plausible. Some things are a little bit less. I think we've only had like 2 case closed where we've actually said this is, or confirmed.
Mm-hmm.
You can be case closed, it's not real, or case closed confirmed.
Yeah.
Those are your 2 options. And I think it's like MK Ultra and COINTELPRO. Like, are those the only 2?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
And those are just facts.
Yeah, it's because there's like factual government documents that you can look up and say, yeah, this stuff actually happened.
Right.
But back to you. So the most fringe thing that you kind of say is highly plausible.
I always just go back to like what's going on now that like I feel the government is trying to create like an army of us, like by collecting DNA through like third-party private companies.
So
like Ancestry
you're
and, like,
skeptical of 23andMe.
Yeah, that kind of stuff. And like Amazon, Jeff Bezos, I can't stand those guys.
Jeff Bezos. Wow.
I just feel like there are people at work that just want humans to just be the Matrix, where we're just like mush and just like a ways of like transporting data, information, and we're just like slaves to some system.
Now, simulation theory, we've looked into simulation theory, and you might not be far off. We might be living in a simulation. Have you ever thought about that, Jimmy?
Sometimes when I think about that, but then I just think of the Lord Jesus Christ, and I say, you know what? I don't think this is real. That I'm in a simulation.
Jimmy, you and I are going to find common cause on the DNA stuff for sure, because I think that when you send away your sample to have get your DNA results, there's very little protection for your privacy on that.
Yeah.
I mean, you're basically giving away your DNA.
Yeah.
I mean, this is kind of like the last frontier.
Minority Report.
Yeah, exactly.
Frontier.
Huh?
Frontier.
Frontier?
Fallen Frontier. Fallen Frontier.
Frontier. Anyway. Yeah, no, I think
we're always talking about how important privacy is. And we have, I mean, it's constantly infringed.
Yeah.
In our society today. We talked before about in Europe, there's CCTV cameras everywhere.
Yeah. In China,
we have them
ridiculous.
Here too.
Yeah.
Not as many.
Yeah.
I saw a stat the other day, like per citizen, there's like 100 and something CCTV cameras per citizen in like Hong Kong or something.
That's crazy.
And here it's like, I think in like Britain, it's like 12 or something.
Mm-hmm.
And here it's maybe a little less.
Yeah. I just think there are people on this earth that are like, they don't think it's a big deal to have that amount of surveillance, like Dick Cheney type people. They're like, I just listened to Edward Snowden on Joe Rogan. So I'm like super broed out of like, you know what? There are guys like Dick Cheney out there that just want to control people.
Oh yeah.
They want people to be stupid. Jeff Bezos having bracelets on his workers that like shocks you when you do a hand movement that's incorrect.
Jesus
as you're on the assembly line.
I didn't know that.
I'm like, at what point do you not want us to be human beings?
Yeah.
So I blame electricity.
You know what I love?
and the Industrial Revolution.
That's absolutely.
Whoever came up with the Industrial Revolution is the biggest piece of shit. It all goes back to Lord of the Rings. You have the hobbits, and then you have the people making things with machines.
Yeah,
the bad guys.
The Sauron.
Tolkien knew it all along.
Believe hobbits. That's my hashtag.
Listeners, if you want to talk about any of Jimmy's views expressed on this program, please get at us at Mr. Bunker Pod on Twitter. Use the hashtag Believe Hobbits.
The future is Hobbit.
The future is Hobbit. Wow. Yeah, that's interesting. I'm like halfway through that Edward Snowden episode. I tend to listen, I mean, I think it's very interesting. I did not know that Amazon houses servers for the government.
Yeah.
And so I thought that was very interesting. And I was like, Amazon's not going anywhere.
Yeah, they
are the devil.
They gobbled up a bunch of these like data processing companies.
Yeah,
like they turn these things into subsidiaries.
Yeah. They have loans, like college loans that you can get through Amazon. I'm like, at what point is this not Idiocracy? The movie with like Costco University.
Right, yeah.
Like, we're living in fucking Idiocracy right now.
Oh,
our president was on WWE just like in the movie.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean,
it's a real life thing.
And yet you don't believe we're living in a simulation.
No, I don't think computers are that good.
Oh.
It's an interesting...
Computers that we're aware of aren't that good.
That's right, Jimmy. Because if we're in the simulation, what do we know?
Fuck.
These higher level beings, Jimmy. These higher level beings.
I'm glad I'm sober right now.
These higher level beings, Jimmy, could have computers the size of planets that can compute lots of different things. And to think about it, Jimmy, if we weren't real and you were real, living in a simulation, like if your consciousness was real and we're just programs, the computer would only have to simulate the things that are around you.
That's true.
You know?
Could I be coming up? Could I be imagining the scenario?
You're a consciousness connected into a giant cloud mainframe and some giant supercomputer the size of a planet. But you know what we said, Jimmy, at the end? We said at the end of that, because it is a mind fuck. And it's hard to plow through. It really is. Simulation theory, it's very heady. You know, it'll put you in the couch.
That's bedfellows with flat earthers, right? Because flat earthers...
No.
Yeah, but flat earthers believe that we are in a terrarium and that the sun is just a light that some bigger thing is.
We haven't looked into flat earth stuff, but I think there's also a very heavy religious component to flat earthism.
That's the big thing for them is that they make globes or maps of flat earth. Right. And it's just it's the flat earth, and then they make these glass enclosures with like all the lights are the planets.
Right. They're very skeptical of NASA and the fact that NASA tells us what to think about the planet.
Fuck NASA, bro. That's my conspiracy theory. Is that why do we need NASA?
Oh wow!
What has NASA done for us? Velcro and peeing in bags. I can't think of one thing.
I mean, those are the two things I use every day. I owe a huge debt to NASA.
I wouldn't have shoes if it wasn't for Velcro.
I wouldn't have shoes. I wouldn't have a place to go potty if it weren't for NASA.
Laces? Are you kidding me? Who's got the time?
Who's got the dexterity?
Well, Jimmy, to take it back, I mean, we got a really interesting topic to talk about today, don't we? This is one that you suggested to Bunker after he captured you, and this is the Red Ghost of Arizona. Now, I've never heard of this before. Andy?
No, this was... everything about this almost was new to me.
Right. Jimmy, where did you first hear about this topic today?
I'd never even heard of Arizona before.
It's 48th state, 1912.
I stop at 45. That's enough states for me.
February 14th, that's an easy one to remember, Valentine's Day.
Arizona's for lovers.
Yeah. I heard about it a couple years ago, just in passing, because my mom's from Mexico, my dad's from Detroit, so I never had like a Arizona upbringing as far as like history of Arizona.
Okay.
Like they were new to it too.
Okay.
They'd only been there for 2 years before me. So
wow.
Okay. Before I was born. But yeah, it's I'd heard it from like a friend or something, but I feel like a lot of people in Arizona don't know about it just because it's
sort of faded with time.
Yeah, like I have some friends that are like third or fourth generation Arizonans, and they know about it. But like a lot of people in Arizona are either like first or second generation.
There's a lot of
migrants,
yeah, from the Midwest migrants.
Midwest, and then Mexico, obviously, that that didn't grow. Mexicans that were born in Arizona before it was the U.S. that just didn't interact with the crazy white people in their stories.
Okay.
Of these red ghosts.
Okay. Well, it's a really interesting topic, listeners. It's a fun history lesson as well. A lot of esoteric history that I think is going to excite a lot of you fucking nerds.
Yeah.
Listen to the show, fucking dweebs.
Yeah, that's targeted.
Let's not waste any more time. I think let's get to it, huh? This is the Red Ghost of Arizona here on Mr. Bunker's Conspiracy Time Podcast. All right, guys. So the Red Ghost of Arizona is...
Oh, hold on there, partner. How's about you and your little co-host there go down to the old saloon and fetch us a couple drinks? Let a real Arizona cowboy tell this here tale.
Well, Jimmy, actually...
Hey, I'm good. He's the bad, and you're the ugly.
Oh.
Yeah!
Oh, my God.
Get up and move on! Yeah! Jimmy Hyde!
Whoa, Jesus.
Okay.
All right, boys.
Okay.
Our story begins in the untamed, expansive wilderness that is Arizona. See, in the spring of 1883, two families shared a modest cottage ranch near the Eagle Creek region of southeastern Arizona. The men of these families had left that day to run a few errands, namely, to tend to their slaughtered sheep and look out for Geronimo and his Apache warriors. You see, for our non-U.S. listeners, this was a time of bloodshed and war in the American West. Geronimo was a fearsome leader of the United Apache Native American tribe, fighting back against U.S. and Mexican military campaigns in their lands. The Apaches had carried out numerous raids in the area, thus the ranchers were on high alert.
Oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. Obscure U.S. history references. Please, can we deviate from the topic to talk about obscure U.S. history? Please.
No. Ah! Hey, get back, I say.
Get back.
Ow.
Jesus.
That's right.
God, my nipple.
Anyway. It was a brutal time, that is for sure. Perhaps all this bloodshed is what drew it to our world. You see, the men were gone all day, leaving the women and children to attend to the cottage in Eagle Creek. It had grown rather dark, approaching nighttime, and the men had still not returned. The women and children needed some more water. So one of the mothers decided to leave the safety of the cottage to trek down to the creek to fetch a pail of water, while the other stayed inside with the children. It was a quick errand, but as soon as she left the cottage, the dogs began to bark and howl ferociously. Then, the women and children inside the house heard a blood-curdling scream. Summoning what courage she had, the other woman inside the cottage peered out into the darkness to see what caused the scream. She claims to see a huge, reddish beast gallop past being ridden by a devilish-looking creature. Overcome by fear, she barricaded the doors of the cottage with the children inside, praying hysterically for safety. Later that night, the men returned. They went down to the spring to investigate. There they saw the dead body of the woman who went to fetch the water. She was battered and broken almost beyond recognition, as if she had been trampled by some enormous beast. Her corpse was surrounded by massive footprints far larger than a horse, and wisps of reddish hair adorning the surrounding brush. And thus is the beginning of our story of the Red Ghost of Arizona.
Yeehaw! And dear listeners, that wouldn't be the last of the Red Ghost. Reports from prospectors would begin to trickle in of a large, red cloven-hoofed animal prowling the desert wilderness. One such encounter happened not far from Eagle Creek Cottage. Two prospectors mining for gold in Chase's Creek were suddenly awakened in the middle of the night when their tent came crashing down on their heads. When they looked outside, they saw what they described as an quote-unquote impossibly tall horse that let out an unearthly wail before galloping off into the night. The next morning, when they surveyed the damage, they found enormous hoofprints, far larger than a horse's, as well as trampled bushes with bits of red hair attached. Obviously, the facts of this and other Red Ghost stories were embellished by local raconteurs, and no, I don't mean Jack White's side project band. Steady as she goes.
Thanks for clarifying.
Local raconteurs of the West. Nevertheless, the Red Ghost story was passed from campfire to campfire, and its legend grew. Jimmy, I'm sure you've sat around many a campfire telling tall tales and eating paste salsa?
No!
Oh.
Yeah! Rooster here! Yeah!
Jesus! Where'd he get that whip?
I don't know. I think he brought it with him.
Hey! Anyway, listeners, as the tale of the Red Ghost, or as it was originally referred to by Spanish-speaking populations, Fantasia, Colorado, spread. Oh,
Jimmy,
you want to give it the real...
I like that one. Fantasia Colorado.
Oh, baby. I could never do it that
there
good.
you go.
That's pace salsa running through my brain, baby.
Anyway, as the Fantasia, Colorado legend spread, the legend grew into the fantastical. It became an enormous demon beast, sometimes said to be 30 feet tall, with red fur and glowing eyes. One prospector claims he saw it kill a grizzly bear. And much like me after I ate a big bowl of cowboy bean chili, the legend was about to dump a big steaming load in its pants that no one saw coming.
Jesus.
Cyrus Hamblin was a well-respected, wealthy local rancher. One day he was out trying to wrangle up some cattle that had gotten loose. He climbed a bare ridge to get a survey of the land and peered down into the ravine below. There, he saw it. The red ghost itself, moving through the dense chaparral bush. He immediately recognized the creature as a camel. Although a camel is a little odd, what was even odder was the figure attached to its back, a human skeleton.
A little bit after Hamblin's encounter, a group of prospectors camping out near the Verde River claimed they saw the beast, but they were armed. Yeah!
Oh, boy.
Hear that, Hillary? They say as the creature came closer, they opened fire, but it was impervious to their bullets. And as the beast ran off, something fell off its back, which the prospectors found to be a human skull with a few shreds of flesh and hair still clinging to it. These encounters were significant to establishing the Red Ghost legend. Before, no one knew it was a camel, but that's what it became. And riding atop its back was the figure of a dead man or skeleton.
Now, listeners, you might be asking yourself, and I'm quoting you now, listeners, wait a minute, what's a camel doing in Arizona? Camels aren't native to the Arizona desert. You're right, listeners. I'm so glad you mentioned it. Thank you. Because now we can deviate from the topic for a history lesson. Woo! Yeah, baby. God, I love deviating from the topic to talk about some obscure history fact. It excites me. I'm excited.
Does he always do this?
Yeah, this is pretty much how it goes. You should see how excited he gets after he poops.
Art, Jimmy, stop talking about me shitting, okay? We need to talk about camels being imported into the USA as part of a bizarre esoteric U.S. military operation.
That's right, Andy. Many Americans, and hell, even Arizonans, might find it odd, but there was indeed a camel corpse set up by the U.S. government in 1855. What?
Corpse.
Yeah, corpse.
Core.
Camel core, whatever. Same difference.
Corpse, when you're talking about the animal, you might think it's an actual corpse.
Yeah, the dead camel.
Let me backtrack. But there was indeed a camel corps set up by the U.S. government in 1855. The 14th president of the United States, Franklin Pierce, appointed Jefferson Davis as his Secretary of War. Davis was granted $30,000 from Congress to develop the Camel Corps to aid the U.S. military in exploring, surveying, and delivering mail across the harsh Arizona desert. At the time, the horses and mules used to cross the desert just couldn't cut the long trips across the sun-soaked wilderness. Thus, it was proposed that they should use camels, an animal known for its ability to survive in harsh desert climates with little water. Davis sent Major Henry C. Wayne and Lieutenant David D. Porter to the Middle East and Northern Africa with the funds to study all they could about camel lore and export the beasts of burden back home.
God, fuck. My nipples are so fucking hard. God, I love obscure history. How many people can even remember that Franklin Pierce was a U.S. president? Not many, I bet. Fuck.
Jesus, Andy.
Anyway, whew. The men arrived and studied camel lore they did. But it was a bad time for camel trading. Boy, if I had $1 for every time I've heard that phrase, I could finally recover all my losses from camel trading. You see, the British Army had just purchased 8,000 camels to aid in their Crimean War, and in response, Egypt outlawed export of livestock, including camels.
Uh-oh.
Nevertheless, Porter and Wayne consulted and studied the art of camel trading, eventually purchasing 33 camels, and all but one of the camels made the voyage back to Texas. The men also hired 7 Middle Easterners to aid as camel tutors and camel veterinarians, which, to foreshadow the outcome of this experiment, was a disaster. The men knew about as much about how to take care of camels as I do about emotionally connecting with another human being, which is to say, not a lot.
On the 3-month-long voyage back to Texas, Wayne and Porter became convinced that this whole camel initiative was friggin' sweet and that camels fucking rule and this would totally work. Wayne even sent Porter back to the Middle East to get more camels after they arrived. That left Wayne to convince everyone in the exploration division that camels fucking ruled. And it didn't get so hot at first. First of all, the camels scared every horse and mule they encountered, causing them to bolt off in random directions. much like how Art bolts off when he has to make small talk with someone he doesn't know, or Andy when he's required to actually have an opinion about a topic.
Okay. Jeez, we're getting roasted.
Aside from being a costly problem, the camels started to piss off the ranch hands who used mules. The camels were rude and irritable and difficult to manage. Also, they stank real bad. But
stinky.
Wayne got one win when he demonstrated how much a camel could carry. He had the beast kneel down and loaded 2 bales of hay on its back, which is about 613 pounds or 278 kilograms for our European friends. A crowd gathered as everyone was like, there's no way that camel can carry all that weight. The crowd was shocked when they loaded an additional 2 bales of hay on its back, and the beast walked off with ease. Eventually, he had his major breakthrough after months of camel training when 25 of his best camels were chosen to survey a route from Fort Defiance, New Mexico to the eastern frontier of California, across the deserts of New Mexico and Arizona, what is now the western half of the famous US 66 highway.
Woo! The camels came in clutch in the trip, absolutely handling the harsh desert climate with ease. This convinced most naysayers that camels were the way to go and the U.S. needed more. So, the War Department in 1858 requested more camels from Congress. But they were kind of preoccupied at the moment with a little thing called the American Civil War, which was brewing up and was about to start in a few years. Thus, the Camel Corps came to an end. Fun fact, Jefferson Davis, the guy who started the whole Camel Corps thing, left the United States to become the first president of the Confederate States of America after they seceded from the Union. He should have stuck with camels.
Oh, yeah.
Andy, quit rubbing your nipples.
Sorry.
So the camels that had already been imported over didn't really get along with their handlers either. They were kind of just sitting there. They had nothing to do. Many American cowboys at the time, contrary to Hollywood portrayals of the cowboy and his trusty steed, they were brutal to their horses and other labor beasts. Mule hands weren't called mule skinners for nothing. So unfortunately, but the cowboys were familiar with horses at the very least, right? They had a long history of working together with these beasts, and they had more of an understanding with them, as brutal and mean to them as they were. Camels, on the other hand, like to be treated with a little bit of TLC and respect. Also, they're fucking huge. So when cowboys would mistreat them, they would spit, they would buck them off. There's even a story of a camel ripping the skin from one of the cowboys' bones with their surprisingly large teeth. They're not to be fucked with. Thus, most of the camels were sadly killed, ran off, or let loose into the desert. Indeed, there were camel sightings in the Southwest into the 1900s, some even as late as 1960.
All right, you two cowpokes. It's about time for me to saddle up and hit the old dusty trail. Could that red ghost still linger out in the wild Arizona desert? Could it be the spirit of a camel wronged and mistreated by a cowboy in the camel corpse? Who is the dead man riding atop its back? I can't say for certain, boys, but what I can say is that this has been one heaping helping of the whole enchilada. And...
yeah! Oh my God. Mr. Bunker's Conspiracy Time podcast will be right back after this brief message.
Say, I'm disturbed.
Welcome to Hysteria 51, a weekly oddcast of mysteries, conspiracies, the unusual, and the unexplained.
Do we have a laser thermometer to figure out if Admiral Byrd is here? I'm pointing the laser at the wall now. 71.1, 71.2. Admiral Byrd is here.
With John, Brent, and Conspiracy Bot.
You're all idiots.
Yeah, Join them each week as they clarify conspiracies,
My name is Stuart Swerdlow. I promise I am human and I do human things.
explore enigmas,
It's all about ley lines, and you'd understand that if I could explain it to you.
and probe the paranormal. Hysteria 51 is a hilarious expedition into the eccentric.
Stop on my joke.
I will when they're good.
Tune in each week and subscribe on Apple Podcasts, the iHeartRadio app, or wherever you listen to podcasts. And remember, the truth is out there, but you won't find it here.
Stay woke, meet sex.
Welcome back, listeners. That was our research of the Red Ghost of Arizona. Alrighty, boys. We hit the old dusty trail, and here we are on the story. Jimmy, we usually start. What are your blanket thoughts on this story? You like it? You hate it? You think it's stupid? You think it's cool?
I love it. I think it's a nice reminder of like, it's a cool story of this could have easily have just been a Bigfoot story that still endures in Arizona. We're like, oh no, this woman got trampled by a fucking huge beast. It smelled awful, but we have enough evidence and people have seen the results of this idea of a mythological beast or something.
I want to say this. Are we sure it isn't Andy? Yeah.
How old is he?
I am old.
Fucking roasted. I'm going to hear that for the next 12 fucking episodes.
You smell great today.
Yeah. Well, normally I smell like shit, and I'm a huge beast that tramples people.
Women fetching water.
Yeah. Women just trying to provide for their families, and I trample them with my
Here's an idiot.
enormous body and cloven hooves.
Jimmy, I called Andy a pig. I said, we did an episode on JFK, and I said, Andy, the Bay of Pigs, that's where you're from, right? And let me tell you, I have not heard the end of it for like 40 episodes of this show.
And that's more episodes than we've done, Jimmy.
I think this is a great story, Jimmy, and I think this is an
a terrific
awesome
story.
suggestion. This is something I would have never discovered, and I don't think I've heard very much about it on anywhere else. I think it's something that's native to the state, and I think it's really interesting. It's a fun, Bigfoot-esque story of a legendary creature that has a lot of historical truth to it, which I think is what kind of separates it, right? Like, there's actual historical truth to this topic. There were camels in the U.S. and in Arizona.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that Bigfoot, where it's kind of like, I mean, there might have been giant hairy apes.
There could have been another program out there.
There could have been.
Yeah.
For
fucking chemical
muskox.
There was some sort of guerrilla corps in the Pacific Northwest where they imported a bunch of gorillas to.
Hey.
No, gorillas make really good firefighters. Let's bring them over here.
Gorillas, I mean, strong as fuck, dude. You fucking teach a gorilla? You eat Coco the gorilla? You get Coco the gorilla how to fight a fire. They fire as fuck.
I think Coco the gorilla and Mr. Rogers had maybe a sexual relationship.
Mr. Rogers fucked that
I would be more okay with that than one of the kids. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
People never seen that unreleased footage of Mr. Rogers and Coco the gorilla sex signing to each other.
Yeah. It's just Mr. Rogers with making the okay sign and putting his index finger on the other hand through
It's like sexting. It's harmless.
Yeah.
Damn, Coco the
gorilla knows what it's doing.
Coco the gorilla was thirsty for that Rogers dick.
Yeah, for sure.
She wanted to come in that neighborhood.
She ripped that cardigan off of him.
I was about to say, it's the sweaters. Yeah, some cardigans.
Yeah, I'll be your fucking neighbor. In your butt.
Your butt neighbor.
I'll be your butt neighbor. Andy, what do you think about this story?
Oh, I think this is a tremendous story. This is a great story. Like you said, it's a real neat, like, horrifying event that kicks the whole thing off, and the historical aspect of it is as interesting, if not more interesting.
Yeah, it's one of those that, like, you could either say that's the dumbest idea of bringing camels to the desert, but it's also like hindsight is 20/20. Like, it could be a good idea. Yeah, it's another desert. It was
a pretty good idea.
I mean, we brought horses are from Asia, and they've been introduced everywhere and have worked. So
I would like to say something though.
Oh, Andy, is this how before we started recording you were saying that Jefferson Davis had a lot of great ideas besides the Camel Corps?
State patriot. That's all I'm going to say.
It didn't work out, but they had a lot of really good ideas.
No, listeners, Andy does not agree with Jefferson
I do not
Davis.
support the Confederacy.
Except the Camel Corps, pretty good idea. We'll give him that.
I'll say this, not even really Jefferson Davis's idea.
True. Well,
He just happened to be the Secretary of War
Yeah.
at the time when
Secured
a budget for it got authorized.
yeah, he secured the funding and sent the two dudes.
Right.
So really, it was Wayne Porter
Right.
who did all the legwork. They went and studied camel lore for like half a year. Literally, camel
I'm
lore.
glad that you call it camel lore and not just learned about camels.
No, it's lore. It's lore of camels.
I'm imagining Wayne Porter looking like Brendan Fraser in The Mummy. That kind of a guy.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's
Just-
fair.
Yeah, it's
Heyday Brendan Fraser. God damn, that
hair,
dude could not be
with hair.
stopped.
Hair day, hair day, Brendan Fraser.
Heyday Brendan Fraser. God damn, I love fucking Brendan Fraser. We need to bring him back. There was a huge push to bring Brendan Fraser back,
I think what I read though,
and it's kind of working.
I don't want to let this slip by. I think what I read is that camels are actually native to like the North American continent
Oh,
and only got into Asia and Africa and the Middle East via the land bridge
ooh, that's interesting.
from this continent.
So they started here and then went over there.
Yeah,
and then horses started there and went over here.
Well,
Yeah.
I think horses also started here and then they went over to Asia and then everything got split up and then they brought them back.
Yeah, I think Jimmy might be right about that as well.
God damn.
We got a lot of cool animals over here.
Yeah.
Camels, I mean, I don't think it's a bad idea. Camels are great in the desert. I mean, can you imagine how fucking scared you'd be if you saw a creature you'd never seen before charging at you like that?
At
though?
night?
At night?
With
like,
a dead body on top.
like, these people have seen maybe, like, what, 3 animals in their entire life?
Well, no, they've seen every animal that's native
to Arizona.
to the area they live in.
Yeah.
Like they've probably never.
It's like 3.
There were no zoo books.
We got a lot of people. People think there's nothing in Arizona. We have a lot of
a
animals.
lot of wildlife.
Yeah, you have 3.
All right, let's go through the list.
Scorpion.
We got
A
scorpions.
snake.
We got all types of snakes. We got Gila monsters.
Those guys are cool.
Yeah, we've got horny-toned lizards. We've got. I'm just
Those
going
are you, right?
going
Yeah.
through the-
You're a little
Jimmy,
horny.
you're a little horny toad.
You're a little horny toad.
We've got trout, delicious
Hit up
trout,
Jimmy on Tinder, ladies.
Apache trout. We've got black bears. We've got
Really?
Yes. See, that's what I'm saying. Don't sleep on Arizona. We've got black bear. We've got.
You're surprised by this?
I'm very surprised by that.
We've got good black bear hunting. We've got bison. We've
I love bison.
yes.
I love bison.
Pronghorn. Do you know what a pronghorn is?
Mm-hmm.
Don't
It's
fuck
like
with bison.
It's a gazelle.
No,
It's like a deer.
they're called antelope, but they're not.
What is it then?
It's they're their own thing. The closest thing they're related to is giraffes and okapis.
what are they called?
Pronghorns.
Pronghorn. They're called like prairie goats or antelope,
Huh.
but they're not.
I didn't
Oh
realize it was its
wow,
own thing. I
goats,
thought it was
very
just like
cool
a
animal.
deer.
A lot of people sleep on goats. Incredible animals.
Talk about
Prairie
another
goats.
animal that smells bad.
Speed
They do
goats
smell bad.
Yeah, we got javelina.
Yeah, javelina.
That's like a collared peccary. We've got elk. We've got all types of deer.
I guess you have a very geographical area.
Yeah,
Northern Arizona probably looks a lot different from southern Arizona.
Northern Arizona looks
Geographic-
more like it looks
California?
like it looks like Mars because it's a lot of like barrenness because there's 4 deserts in Arizona.
Wow.
There's the Great Basin Desert, there's the Mojave, the Sonoran Desert, and the Chihuahuan Desert.
Very cool.
So they all look different.
And
but-
your family is from what part of Mexico?
Chihuahua.
That's
and,
right.
And Sonora.
Okay,
So
so you gotta you're
yeah, same deserts.
okay.
But yeah, we got a lot of animals. We got wolves.
Oh yeah.
We've got
Now, famously on this show, Andy and I first said we could fight a wolf, and Andy said he could win. I said it would
kind
be
of
a
wolf?
draw.
What kind of wolf?
Oh, this is where I want Jimmy's going to have good perspective on this.
Let's let Jimmy weigh in.
We didn't really specify a type of wolf.
I think we
Okay.
just said generic wolf.
generic
Like
wolf.
a Canadian gray wolf.
Not a gray. A gray would absolutely beat the shit out of.
So like a red wolf from like the Carolinas.
Let's split the difference.
Okay.
Middle.
Mexican gray wolf.
Okay.
Yeah.
Think you could beat a wolf.
I think a female, not because, ladies, no offense, not because it's a female, but they're just smaller than
Smaller,
a male.
right.
I think maybe, but still, it's a wild animal. They're
One
scary.
wolf. One wolf.
Maybe.
Okay.
Jimmy, do you think you could fight a dog and win?
Most of them, yeah, because all you got to do is give it your arm, let it break your arm,
That's
and,
what I said.
and then pop its eye out.
That is what I said. Didn't I say that?
You said that.
Let it sink in. Let it have a clean break so it's not biting a joint or your leg. Break the arm, pop the eyeball. Guarantee it's not going to want to
Because that dog will bite your arm. Hold on. It won't let go.
Yeah, they're not smart enough to switch like, oh, I got the arm.
Yeah, and then you kind of have control of its head.
Yeah, and then you just boink.
Jeez, this is terrible.
So what's your strategy with the wolf?
Same thing.
I want to go back to murdering people's dogs if they bite me. If your neighbor's dog bites you, this is how you kill it. With a
Catch Jimmy's seminar.
Jimmy's TED Talk.
It's a TEDx because no one wants to fucking have me.
For extreme. It's TED Extreme.
Hi, welcome to TEDx. We're here in Cheyenne, Wyoming.
I'm going to talk about murdering dogs.
In self-defense. What was it? What strategy with a wolf?
What's your strategy with the wolf?
Dude, I don't know, man. Wolves are fucking terrifying.
Okay.
Scariest thing, we have a lot of mountain lion in Arizona. Mountain lions scare me more than anything.
You heard about that story about that mountain lion that attacked that jogger.
Yeah, I think I did a solo bit at Skull Mountain about that.
Oh, I think you did.
The guy goes crazy and he starts killing everyone around him.
That's right.
Like unlocks his because he like choked it out. And then
see, that guy survived. That guy got it done.
He got mountain. Think about, would you rather have a dog or a cat of the same size attack you? You'd rather a dog. Cats have the teeth and the claws.
I live with a cat, and let me tell you, even that little 10-pound, whatever the fuck he weighs, little piece of shit.
They're awful.
I think that cats are like a dog. A dog's only going to attack you enough to like be okay.
Yeah.
But I think that a cat's like going to finish the job.
Yeah.
They're determined.
Mm-hmm.
And so I agree with you, Jimmy. I would rather fight a dog than a cat.
I'd rather a grizzly bear attack me than a tiger.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, no fucking way.
I would rather I would rather fight a lion
Jesus.
than a tiger.
Yes, same.
Those things are big, dude.
Yeah.
Tigers are bigger. They're the biggest cat.
Mm-hmm.
Oh wow, I didn't know that.
Tigers are
bigger. Plus they're solitary.
Yeah, and they like water, so they don't care.
That's true.
Yeah.
They'll meet you at Hawaii. They'll get there.
Why am I in Hawaii?
You thought you could run from a tiger? Yeah. Fuck you.
Why is this tiger
you make money, you think you're just chilling on the beach?
Hey, welcome. Thanks for checking in to the Houghton Inn Express here at Maui. What brings you here to Hawaii? There's a tiger hunting me.
Art goes to his room. The room is dark. He searches for a light switch. He touches it. Nothing happens. In the background, he hears, "Killing you's gonna be fucking great."
Shere Khan.
Fucking Tony the Tiger fucking trying to murder me. I like his cereal, even though it smells like piss.
What?
You never think Frosted Flakes smells like piss?
No, I think somebody pissed on your
I was
Frosted
about to say,
Flakes.
is that an older brother just taking a couple drops into your cereal?
When's the last time you bought Frosted Flakes?
I don't know, when I was a teenager.
Yeah, somebody pissed in your cereal.
Wouldn't that be a great prank? Just a couple drops of urine in a box of cereal and clothes in it. Like, have fun with that.
Yeah. That way, not all the cereal is like not obviously soggy.
Just a couple, like, after you're done peeing, just a little drops. Like, there you go. You fucker.
That's like,
you want to break my video game?
That's like coming into a shampoo bottle. It's like impossible to detect.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I knew some people in college that pulled that prank.
Yeah.
Damn.
Which I was like, dude, I think you could get probably like arrested for that.
That's like sexual assault now.
Yeah.
In today's, like.
Or shitting in somebody's chili.
Which
Andy I would never know.
Andy has done frequently. Don't ever have his chili.
Is it bad?
It'll make you shit, that's for sure.
It's got shit in it.
Damn.
Andy makes his chili so fucking hot.
Jimmy can handle it.
Jimmy, do you handle spice well?
I do.
Spicy boy?
I do.
Oh, that's right. You are a wing champion.
Oh, listeners Mexican.
Well, you're also you're also
I'm
Mexican.
a wing champ, two-timer.
Listeners who don't know this, every year a friend of the show, Nick, puts on
Nick from Joliet. You all know him, you love him.
Who suggested the Flatwoods Monster episode. Thank you, Nick. He puts on a wing hot eating competition like Hot Ones, the YouTube show, and Jimmy is one of our main champions.
Yeah, I have yet to lose.
Jimmy and our friend Dave kind of go head to head. Andy is also like kind of also involved in it. He's kind of the Ross Perot of this Clinton versus whoever Clinton.
You're a Bob Dole man.
I have a lot of good ideas, but nobody really respects me.
And you got big ass ears, dude. Look at those fucking ears. You're also a billionaire.
Yeah.
Boy. This might be kind of a moot at this point, but what other beasts of burden do you guys think could be used in exploration? What are we missing out on? We talked about the gorilla core.
Yeah.
I think what about the manatee core? That'd be kind of cool. The oceans are very unexplored still.
Yeah.
But manatees can't dive very
Being
deep.
able to harness like a whale or something.
If you could attach
Shark
deep
core.
sea camera equipment to like a blue whale,
That'd be sick.
because there's no predators. Nobody can attack a creature that size.
Yeah.
They spend the majority of their day very, very deep in the ocean.
Why don't more things attack blue whales?
Nothing's big enough.
They're just a gentle giant. They're
Just take a big bite out of it, sharks. I'm talking to the shark community that listens to this podcast.
I mean, there aren't sharks that are big enough to
But they could
fell
just
one.
take a big bite out of it and fucking swim away.
maybe the bite can't even get around how big of, you know what I mean?
That's
it's like
true.
trying
Plus
to bite
we-
like a wall.
Plus, we might be saying the whale probably exists at a depth where the sharks don't swim.
That might be true.
Yeah.
And they only come up to breathe or whatever.
Yeah,
Hey.
they just come up to breathe and.
You guys ever
Probably
seen
to-
a whale breach?
Yeah, in Alaska.
I did too in Alaska.
Yeah.
I went whale watching.
Nice.
like a whale birth
No. Fuck.
where the whale baby comes out.
Only friends and
first?
family are allowed in that. Of the whale.
It's a private affair.
No.
No, I went whale watching in Alaska.
Like they pop up out of the water?
Yeah, and they breach with their giant tail and they go.
Oh, okay.
The boat's literally going up and down. You get so fucking sick. I don't because I have great sea legs, but you go up and
Yeah,
down,
beautiful legs.
Nice and tan.
up and down like a
Non-nauseous tan.
sine
legs.
Yeah,
curve,
just-
dude. I could be a shoreman or a seaman.
Yeah.
Technically, I was at one point. We all were.
We all were.
Just sitting around in a vat of shampoo. Ready to go on some unsuspecting college kid's hair.
I think. What about the pig core? You guys think the pig core?
Pig core? Pigs are pigs smart or are pigs stupid? I forget.
Pigs are smart.
Are they?
Pigs are
smart.
pigs are really smart, but
Great at hunting truffles.
Yeah.
Not a truffle guy.
Okay.
But the problem that you have with pigs are domesticated, but they turn feral really fast.
Yeah.
They do.
I mean, you talk about the javelina.
Well, a javelina's not a pig, though.
What is it? It's not a pig?
It's an old world pig, but that's not a pig,
Oh.
if that makes any sense.
I thought this was just like a variety of feral pig.
No, they're peccaries, so they're like they're I think they're closer related to rodents, but they're not pigs.
Wow.
But yeah, feral pigs like in like Missouri and Texas, like they're crazy,
Yeah.
rampant.
Jimmy's right. It's just called an animal.
So
Is a javelina a rodent or a pig? A peccary
peccary?
is a medium-sized pig.
They're old world. Are you on Wikipedia or are
Like
you on
hoofed mammal of the family Teiasun, New World pigs.
They smell bad and they're not very tasty.
They're like mean. They're
Kind of like me.
they're vicious.
They're if you like get close to them, but you can get very close if you're hunting them and not have an issue. Like they can only smell. Their eyesight's shit and their hearing's really bad. It's just smell, but like within like 50 yards, so you can get real close to them.
Wow.
They're dumb.
There used to be this guy who played football for Ohio State. His name's Anthony Schlegel, and I think that he was from Texas.
Okay.
And like him and his dad, they would hunt. I don't know if it was javelina or like just feral hogs.
Where in Texas?
I don't know. I don't remember.
If it's West Texas, javelina. If it's East, it's going to be pig.
I don't remember where it was, but their whole thing was like they would hunt these, but he would go on like foot with a knife.
Jesus Christ.
I mean, yeah, you could do it
So
if you're good enough. Yeah.
that's crazy.
Yeah, because they're not that big.
Yeah.
The biggest one is like a little smaller than this table, maybe, like lengthwise.
Oh,
And that's
yeah.
that's a big boy. I'd say like 3/4 of the size.
So they are kind of small.
Yeah.
And we're sitting at like a 4-foot table.
It's like
Yeah.
shooting womp rats in my T16.
What do we think about the new Star Wars? Are we fans?
I saw The Force Awakens and I hated it, and I haven't seen any of the rest.
Thank you.
And I feel like we do owe Andy an apology. He'll bring it up.
Art burned me down for disliking The Force Awakens. Told me how wrong I was and what a nuanced and tremendous villain Kylo Ren was.
I think Kylo Ren was interesting.
When I said,
But then the second one came out, and but to my credit, I also said, let's see what they do with the second one.
Yeah.
Because obviously they just copied A New Hope. And I was like, okay, they're rebooting it.
Yeah.
That's fine. They need to do something. They took the safe route. Let's see what they do with the second one. The second one,
route.
yeah, and the second one ended up being a pile of trash. I haven't seen it, but
people
from what
that
I've
like
heard,
the Last Jedi, I truly question their taste in anything.
Yeah.
I'm like, are you that like Stockholm syndrome over this franchise?
well,
or like,
people love that. I just don't really give a shit about Star Wars, to be honest with you.
Do you, Andy?
I like it. I just think that it's also like it's a kids movie. At the end of the day, like it's meant to sell toys,
it's because Empire is a as an adult, I love that movie.
Empire is
they don't
make a great movie.
They don't make fun. They don't make fun movies for the whole family.
They don't
like
have
that anymore.
the balls. No, it's only for the family. They don't have balls to make movies that kids can like, but adults will like it.
It's just meant to sell toys. That's why they have so many fucking stupid characters,
cutie guys, and
it's for like little the little kid who wants to dress up like Rey.
I think it was so stupid that when Disney bought it, there's already this existing lush universe of basically fan fiction that became christened, that got the hominis dominus from LucasArts. They had this whole lush.
There was books, universe, video games, comics,
Shadows of the Empire.
Shadows of the Empire.
Yeah,
that's games. All totally invalidated now. It doesn't exist anymore.
Disney put the kibosh on all that.
They can pick whatever. They make their own stuff. I just think it's so stupid. But it's because it's the money thing.
I thought Rogue One was stupid. A lot of people say they like Rogue One. My problem with Rogue One is they were super on the fence about it. Do you want a grisly Saving Private Ryan set in the Star Wars universe, or do you want fun Ocean's 11 heist movie? Which is it? Because
they couldn't go full Ryan.
They could.
You can't go full Ryan, man.
But like, this is a kids movie, and spoiler alert, everyone dies.
Yeah, it's
so fucking depressing.
It's not a kids movie then. It's Empire.
Then go fun heist movie with all the fun different characters. You got the blind monk guy. You got main character girl who's like a smuggler, and you got
I think they did as best of a job they could with Disney being there. Disney ruins it because
don't toy the line. Pick a side. Quit taking the safe route.
They made it better than like by going that like Saving Private Ryan route as opposed to just making it a heist movie. I feel Disney wouldn't allow that because they're trying to sell it to international audiences.
That's the big thing, is they're always trying to sell these movies to international audiences, so they got to take shit out.
Yep.
We can't have fun shit anymore.
Yeah.
And honestly, I'm more of a TV guy anyway. I've always been a TV guy, and specifically cartoons. I like cartoons way more than anything. Movies are like
I love going to the movie theater.
I hate it.
I love eating popcorn. That popcorn that was made in another country and
taking our popcorn food
was shipped to the theater in a plastic bag.
There goes our sponsorship with Big Popcorn.
Wait, this is a big popcorn podcast?
Yeah, this is Mr. Bunker's Conspiracy Time podcast, brought to you by Big Popcorn.
Big popcorn.
I like it when you call me Big Popcorn.
Andy, you really, to bring it back, you really enjoyed the history aspect of this topic.
I had never heard of the Camel Corps before.
Yeah.
And I like you, Art. I feel the same way. This seems like, for the time, what a great idea.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, this is a problem with horses and mules, right? You get them into the desert. There's no water. What do you do?
Right. Yeah.
You got to have like horses ready to go to take the place of the horses that die.
We had all this new land. They were exploring and stuff and stealing, but and also exploring.
Yeah.
But
if you steal something, you still have to get familiar with it after you steal it.
Absolutely.
That's true.
When you steal a man's woman, you have to get familiar.
Oh, Jimmy, you rogue.
There's only one rogue.
Jimmy is the rogue.
Rogue one.
And I travel solo.
Solo, you can't hear him.
You could say I'm a Last Jedi that just needs the
Jimmy
Force to
Rogue
awaken.
One.
I am Rogue One.
Rogue Juan.
Rogue Juan. I'm the real Juan.
Hey, Narcos, get at this guy.
Yes. Hire me.
Yeah, I think, they had this problem and camels were obviously the beast to solve it. I mean, Jimmy, you have a lot of experience with the Arizona desert. I can't imagine how fucking harsh it is.
Yeah, it's.
I don't think I've ever been out west. I've been to
Okay.
the Grand Canyon, but I haven't really been to the desert. Well, no, I shouldn't say that. I've been to Las Vegas, as
Okay.
Andy says, and I got sunsick my first day there.
Okay.
I was a little kid, and I spent the whole trip in the hotel throwing up.
Damn.
So I did not treat the desert with kindness. I did not drink enough water. That 110-degree heat.
You got to respect the desert.
You got to respect the desert.
You do.
And I can't imagine how fucking tough it had to be to survive out there in 1855.
Yeah. And it gets cold at night.
It gets cold at night, and it's hot during the day.
Yeah.
Some of the research was talked about how specifically well suited camels are for this environment because their body temperature fluctuates like a huge amount.
Yeah.
Which is how they're able to store so much water, is because they perspire very little.
Yeah.
A human being, we have to stay within a few degrees of 98. And if you get much above that, you start sweating. And if you get much below that, you're like
getting sick.
Yeah,
You
you're
get
like
pointy
shivering
nipples.
and your nipples are hard. These camels, I think it was like the body temperature can fluctuate from like 93 to over 100. And that's just like during the day, that's just naturally how they fluctuate. So they do very little perspiring.
Yeah.
Their
So
humps store fat.
Right.
And not water.
Not water. That's a myth. There's apparently also a myth that the camel has an extra stomach that stores water.
Interesting.
But that's not true.
Oh.
There's maybe some water that lines the area around. There's like fluid that lines some of those organs. But it's all just, they have no additional water storage capabilities. They just
You guys ever met a
have
camel?
wild fluctuating temperatures.
You've met a camel?
Yeah,
No.
I've ridden them at like circuses and fairs.
What was that like, Jimmy?
It's not exciting because they're not allowed to move fast. And from an early age, I'd been told a story by my dad that my grandpa, who fought in World War II, he was stationed in North Africa and then eventually Europe. But in North Africa, they one day were presented with like camels to go ride them around, maybe to do like some reconnaissance or whatever. I think they just had camels around the base. So he was like given a camel for the day, and he like walks up to this thing, my grandpa, and it spits in his face, like a large amount of spit.
Yeah.
And so apparently my grandpa punched it in the face. And then from there, they were like, cool. The camel's like, all right, I can't get away with this
Wow.
this little thing, human.
The camel respected your grandfather.
So like from that, like I heard that story when I was like 3 or 4, and I was like, man, I just don't like camels. And so
That's kind of the first thing you always learn when you learn about camels is that they spit.
yeah.
Quick question, Art. How do you feel about Jimmy's grandfather being in North Africa fighting your people, the Italians? The Italian fascists. Your people.
Spanking them, not just fighting.
Yeah.
Literally, the Italians were the most embarrassing thing about World War II.
Hey now.
They lost to the Greeks in the 40s. My God.
We're lovers, not fighters. We're lovers. We never wanted to really be a part of it anyway.
Yeah, that's
We just wanted to do a little bit of fascism.
just wanted a little
Just
bit
a
of.
smooch.
Just smooch
And then we wanted to go hang back and
I
drink
like
wine.
wearing black shirts when I go out. I'm not a fascist. It's a Saturday night.
What would you guys do? You're out in the desert and you're camping.
Okay.
You see
I would probably just, fire up a little campfire, cook up some beans.
just some beans. That's it.
Yeah, cowboy beans.
Yeah. You're going to have dry beans. You got to have a little bit of water and.
Pintos.
Yeah, pintos.
Delicious.
Yeah.
Get so creamy when you cook them.
Mm-hmm.
Starch
A
comes
little
out
bit
of
of
the beans.
salted pork.
Yeah. You got a ham hock? Toss that in.
Okay, but then the red
couple
ghost.
bones.
You see the red ghost.
You got to be careful because if this is happening in a desert, unless you're like in a forest in Arizona, but you got to remember there's cacti everywhere, so you can't just like it's like you're going to be tripping over like a short barrel cactus. So like
Interesting.
you probably just got to like stay put, otherwise you're going to get fucked up.
So you hunker down. You say, "Let that red ghost come to me."
Well, let's face it. You're in the desert. This is is this today or is this
Sure.
in the 19th century?
It's
it's
2014.
Okay, 2014.
Very
Let me
specific
transport
year.
myself back there.
Obama's America still. You're not on edge.
So
Safe
You're out in the
spaces
desert.
everywhere.
Let's face it. You're in the Arizona desert. You're probably armed, right?
Absolutely. In
nobody-
Arizona, DMX moved to Arizona because you can carry
Right.
openly, publicly carry a firearm. He
Yeah.
said, "This it's kind of like California, but I can carry a gun everywhere. Why wouldn't I live here?"
Yeah.
and
Can you
it's
carry
cheaper.
a sword?
I'm sure.
You can in Texas.
I'm sure you can carry a sword.
Who would call you on it is the thing. Hey, you can't have that sword in here.
I'd be a guy. I'd be the
No, it's just a sword-shaped holster for my gun.
my gun sword.
No swords, no shoes, no pants.
I'm pretty sure that's the motto in Texas.
All right, but like for the sake of this, all right, fine.
You're armed. You're armed.
You're armed. Okay,
Yeah.
fine.
Everyone has a gun in Arizona.
Let's say you got a little like, well, I don't know, like a little 22 fucking just like safety rifle, something like that.
So you can shoot your buddies for fun.
Yeah, something you can shoot your buddies with for fun.
22, man.
I don't know.
Speaking of Dick Cheney, shooting your buddies for
You
fun.
can shoot me right now with a 22. I don't care.
Jimmy, I'm not going to shoot you again with a 22.
Jimmy, we put the 22 away for the day. We're not going to shoot you anymore.
I got 2 butt cheeks for a reason. Let's go. Get the other one. Yeah, you're armed in the desert.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean,
You absolutely light it up. If
Right.
you're armed.
You are going to shoot the red ghost.
If something's coming at me in the middle of the night, yes.
if you're in the desert, you got to think art. I mean,
Could be
look.
impervious to bullets.
Look, you're a city boy. Jimmy and I are from the country.
Okay.
When it gets dark, where there's no streetlights, it gets dark.
I understand that.
I mean, you can't see your hand in front of your face if the clouds are in the sky. You just got to go. You don't know what it is.
What good could come from something approaching you in the middle of the night?
If it's a person, the person's gonna say, "Hey,
yeah,
I'm coming to your camp."
yeah.
But if it's something
Hello,
else,
the ship.
we just said it. We can't fight a wolf. We can't win. I can't beat a wolf.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I got to shoot it. I don't know. It might be a wolf.
Let alone a red ghost.
Let alone
With its glowing eyes.
let
and-
alone something 2 feet taller than a horse.
Yeah, that reeks. That smells
it's-
like a DK.
And it's going.
That's terrifying.
That's actually
whatever.
very accurate. Well,
Who
listeners,
got there? Have a gun somewhere. Seriously, fucking stop. Seriously, fucking cool it.
Chill out, man.
I'm getting fucking pissed off.
listeners, it only took 30 episodes, but we finally heard Andy's orgasm noise.
Oh, I'm gonna.
I don't know. I think there's like, it's a red ghost. We don't know. Could be some ethereal, ghostly being. You shoot it, you start making it angry. Maybe you just let it trample your camp.
If I'm seeing something ethereal, then it's too late. I might as well upset it.
I agree with. I agree with Jimmy. What do you have to lose?
Yeah, I have not called you to be in my realm, so you're clearly invading my space, you fuck. So you're getting shot.
What would the red ghost do for you that's positive?
Yeah.
We have no experience where somebody was like, "Oh, I was visited by the red ghost, but I didn't piss it off, so it gave me $100 bill and then disappeared into another dimension."
You could tame the red ghost, and then now you're the new rider. You're the red ghost rider, dude.
I would do that in a heartbeat.
What?
Shoot, I would become the red ghost rider if that was like
An
part of the
undead
deal.
skeleton riding a
Yeah,
camel?
for sure.
That reminds me of the song "Ghost Riders in the Sky." Have you heard that old Western song?
No.
Ghost Riders in the Sky. Johnny Cash did a cover of it. Anyways,
Okay.
it was written by a guy from Arizona, Stan Winston.
Huh. Okay. Wow.
What was it? Oh, do you guys know the story behind the specific red ghost though?
What do you mean?
So
Tell us.
allegedly, some of these camels were being used by the engineers or the soldiers, whatever, in the army, and they got into like a skirmish with a bunch of like Navajo fighters, and then so that one, I think we did say that that specific camel, the guy got killed, and so he was still like strapped into the camel, or like the ropes got tied up,
And the camel just fucked
camel
off.
got scared, and they tried to catch the camel, but it took off, and so like days later, these guys were like. I'd never heard the Eagle Creek story, but I'd heard in like northern Arizona, this guy was like mining for gold or something, and it said it came up to him like during the day, and he like couldn't make out really what it was.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I was also reading that they felt like they found the body of the red ghost, the camel, where it was like it had all these rawhide straps.
Yes.
Like just crisscrossing its body.
Yeah.
And like the straps had been on so long they were like dug into the flesh.
Eesh.
So this was like
That's a hardy motherfucker.
this was an undoubtedly extremely pissed off camel because it was in pain constantly.
Yeah. It's like I follow a lot of hunting Instagram accounts, and they'll like take photos of like a goat or something that they kill. And sometimes like these goats are born with like their horns, like big horn sheep, that the ones that curl back.
Mhm.
Sometimes they're deformed, so they grow into their body. So
Jesus
like
Christ.
it's in their skull, so they're like it comes out their eye and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Oh, man, that is
Yeah.
fucked up.
And they just lives like that for 18 years.
This is how I am.
My
it's like-
horn grew through my skull and popped my eye out one day.
What is it? There's like some breed of like wild boar where it's like the tusks just shoot through the upper
Yeah.
lip. Like that's every animal.
It's got to come through
like
the
it
mouth.
just punctures the up. Like these. It's no wonder they're mad.
Yeah.
Like their whole existence is pain. Like what a terrible evolution.
Well, and that's why I've started a charity for orthodontists for pigs.
That's very good.
I want to
That's
put
nice.
braces on pigs.
I want to talk about a little bit the writer though. You know, Jimmy, you mentioned like this guy probably got killed in a skirmish. What if what about the possibility that was suggested in some of the research that this camel was outside of the scope of the Camel Corps. This is after the Corps has been disbanded. Some nefarious person maybe purchased this camel at auction or came into possession of it through some other means. And maybe this person was an enemy of the owner of the camel and they strapped him to the back of it and then just set the camel loose.
I do like that much more.
And so the guy just died of thirst atop this camel.
That's an incredible revenge tale. Like,
Yeah.
we're going to strap you into this beast. Good luck. It's like burying them with fire ants around or something. Like, let
Yeah.
the ants just eat your head.
Right, yeah.
I would love to do that to
Or
someone.
like the end of True Detective Season 2 where they just
No
drop-
spoilers! I haven't started season 1.
Oh, Jesus, Jimmy, you got to get fucking caught up.
Also, Breaking Bad, I'm halfway through season 4 as of 10 years ago.
No spoilers for Breaking Bad.
No spoilers or the other.
Okay, well, never mind.
The Sal one, or Saul. Better Call Saul.
Better Call Sal.
Anyway.
It's about arts people too. Better Call Sal, huh?
You better
Oh, he's got that good gabagoo.
Hey, yo, how's it going? You going on Red Camel?
Come on, I'm not trying to get involved in no World War II. Huh?
Boy, that's got to be a fucking sight. This battle-scarred, pissed-off, fucking red fur camel, probably bleeding. On its back is a decaying body that is just being pecked at by like vultures and birds and shit. And it's just charging at you with the fury of 1,000 fucking generations of slaughtered beasts of burden.
I mean, how tall are these dromedaries? Are we talking? I mean, these are like 8 feet.
They're well over
tall,
6
right?
feet tall.
Yeah,
It's like 8 feet.
I think
tall.
they're like 8 feet tall, and then the humps are probably like 9 or 10 feet.
Yeah,
They're
Huge
really
animals.
You need a ladder to get on a camel.
They-
There's no
yeah.
other way.
or they have
need
to kneel down,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
so you can even get close.
Yeah, and then you gotta convince it to kneel down in
You're right.
the first place.
Dude, that always fucking like. Who's the first dude who's just like, I'm gonna ride that fucking thing?
That thing's mine.
Yeah, you know
I'm
what?
getting on it.
And think about this: camels have been domesticated for like thousands of years.
Domesticated.
Like
Well,
like there are no wild camels anywhere. They're all domestic.
What?
Yeah, it's a completely domesticated animal.
There aren't any wild camels.
That's what some of
Wild camels
couldn't drag me
away.
that's what this camel would have had such a hard time because they aren't accustomed. Camels are not used to like foraging and subsisting on their own.
there has to be wild camels
It's a domestic. It's like cattle.
or bison. Bison are. I think like 90% of bison are all farm, like privately owned.
I love
Yeah, yeah,
bison.
now.
What a great
There's
animal.
not a lot of public land like
Don't you
wild.
just love
Yeah.
a bison? You ever been around one of those?
Oh, they're incredible.
That's the thing. I've been around a bison, and they're not necessarily very tall, but they're fucking massive.
yeah,
I would be if I.
Fucking
they're
massive
cute.
animals.
They're cuties.
Yeah, but like, I can't imagine the fear that a charging camel would fucking. You've never seen one before. You see this weird, knobby, like mutant horse thing with these big ass knees.
Ugly.
He's fucking ugly.
Top 10 ugliest animals.
And they sort of
absolutely.
They sort of
ugly. Freshman 15 horse.
They sort of flop. Like when they're running, it's like the
cock,
feet are like
it's a
flopping.
cock with humps and skinny legs.
Uncircumcised.
Yeah, it's an uncircumcised white penis in my face. I feel like I'm back in college. Get out of here.
Wait, what?
Yeah, we all had that experience.
Oh, wow. Top 10 ugliest animals. Jesus.
Absolutely. Also, to your point of the revenge story, putting a guy, I can't think of anything scary of like maybe an Italian guy that's still alive strapped to a camel. You don't understand his Italian language and he's screaming at you. In the middle of the night, I'd be like, get out of here. It is a ghost. It's a demonic creature. He's like, no, I'm from Italy.
Mamma mia!
Wearing a tracksuit.
Yeah, it would be really horrifying, but I mean, it's incredible that the Red Ghost is not the mascot for a metal band from Arizona.
For a metal band?
Yeah. A camel with a decaying body strapped to its back.
That's pretty like top 10 like metal cryptid ghost stories. Red Ghost is up there. Like you see some of these images for the Red Ghost.
Yeah.
It looks like a fucking metal album cover.
You know what? Bigfoot can go to hell. The Red Ghost is freaking awesome.
Red Ghost is in charge now. What I was thinking about with Jefferson Davis is that
go on.
Well,
we know you spend a lot of time thinking about Jefferson Davis
when I'm angrily masturbating in my lair. Man, that MLK was a troublemaker.
Oh boy.
I'm kidding. I'm Mexican. I can joke with that line. I can take a step and then jump back. With Jefferson Davis being the president of the CSA, because the Western, I love like random history stuff. Being a history major, the westernmost Civil War battle site was in Arizona at Picacho Peak.
Oh,
so I wonder if like Jefferson Davis is like, hey, remember that old camel project we did? What if we?
It's like a last ditch effort.
Yeah, like during the Civil War and just like all these camels.
What happened to Picacho Peak?
I think it was like 300, like 200 guys.
Wow.
On each side that just had they were like, hey, let's meet here. Cause like Tucson was the capital of Arizona, the territory at the time. And then the Confederates took over. So Arizona was part of the CSA.
Cause Jimmy and I know this because we know things, but you don't know this. Territories in the U.S. got free will to decide whether or not they had slavery. And it was just determined by the territorial government.
Right. When they were
admitted into statehood,
right,
is
like
when
you get to pick.
They didn't get to choose then. So Arizona never had to that was the problem with Kansas and Nebraska.
Mm-hmm.
Is that they split 1 for 1.
Yeah.
And it caused all those.
Helped start it all.
Yeah.
And that is why the camel corpse probably fell apart, is because they were sitting around debating that and nobody gave a shit about the camel corps.
I think people make a big emphasis on states' rights and slavery, but I feel like the North was just upset with the use of camels in Arizona. And that's
primarily
kick-started this whole
one of the bigger issues that's gone unnoticed.
All right.
Speaking of history, I want to just point out one thing.
Before we get to our verdicts,
this was on Franklin. This was on Franklin Pierce's watch as president, and somewhat of a forgotten president. I think we can all agree. A troubled, alcoholic man. But the Democrats actually came up with what I think is a clever slogan for him. You'll of course remember the 12th president of the United States, James K. Polk. So the Democrats came up with this slogan for Pierce's campaign: "We polked you in 44, we shall pierce you in 52."
That's good. That's a good one.
That's when they were on the right. The Democrats?
Yeah, for non-U.S. listeners, when you go back that far, the names there was a lot of different party names.
Switched.
And
this iteration of the Democrats would have been like,
Democrats were typically like Southern,
like slavery apologists, Democrats.
Yeah.
Pierce, I think, was from the Northeast actually, so he would have run on a Democrat ticket, but he would have been Northeast in order to get the votes in that part of the country, which probably would have mostly otherwise gone Republican.
Mm-hmm. Is there any other points of the story that you gentlemen want to bring up before we get to
I'm not
verdicts?
mistaken, Pierce's son died in a train crash, which encouraged his alcoholism.
If you were an
That'll do it.
alcoholic in the 19th century, I would assume you were a Mormon or just a problem. You'd have to be a drunk.
Yeah, everyone drank whiskey constantly.
Yeah.
Like it was like all you drink because like probably water wasn't safe to drink in some situations. So at least you had alcohol.
My final verdict is...
Well, hang on, Jimmy.
Final thought.
Well, no. Our final verdicts, there's a process to it.
Oh, okay.
There's a process to it. Listen, Jimmy, you start jumping ahead. Listeners are going to get real angry with us. Mr.
Fair.
Bunker's going to hurt us in some way. He's going to punish us if we don't do things the way we always do them. I'm just saying, any final thoughts about the story before we get to the verdicts?
Final thought on the story, just a random thing that I told Annie on the way here. Outside of Coolidge, which is a small farming town in between Tucson and Phoenix, there's a mountain that has a camel statue at the top for the Camel Corps. So I say in a year, we all get together and record a sequel to this.
Hell yeah.
Atop the mountain.
Mr. Bunker live.
Looking for
the Red Ghost.
On live, looking for the red. I love it.
I would love to do it one
By
day.
the way, Franklin Pierce, 3 children, all of them died in childhood.
Woo.
One in infancy, one of disease as a child, and the other in a train crash.
What's worse, that or Teddy Roosevelt's mother and wife dying on the same day? Maybe the kids were loud and annoying. Maybe it's like, fuck.
Maybe Teddy Roosevelt's wife and mother were
the
loud
house
and
is
annoying.
quiet. I can do what I want. I can write that book.
I think the children would be worse.
Yeah.
As a father.
Okay.
You know your mother's going to die eventually.
Yeah.
You have to deal with that.
You could get a hotter wife. Can't get hotter kids.
Yeah. Even if I did, it doesn't matter.
Yeah. I guess, kids would be worse.
Yeah, that's my verdict.
Yeah.
Alrighty. So let's get to our final
No, I go back.
No.
I go back.
You want hot kids?
Yeah, give me the hot kids.
All right, Jimmy wants hot kids. All right. Let's give our final verdict. Jimmy, so this is kind of how it works is we will sum up our final thoughts on this story and whether we think it's plausible. I'm going to show you an image. This is the Bunker scale. This is the scale that Andy and I use to determine the plausibility of a topic. Now,
this created by our friend Justin Link.
Justin Link, that's right. Fantastic photographer and videographer. Google him or go to justinlink.com. Now, plausibility goes in both ways. So you can say, case closed, it's not true at all. You don't think anything about this story is true. It's totally fabricated. Or case closed, it is true. Or you can go plausible plus, plausible. Andy and I will go first, and you'll get a little bit of an idea on how this works. Andy, why don't you start?
All right, I'll go first. So in the case of the Red Ghost of Arizona, I guess, there's a few different things we could consider. I mean, what was the Red Ghost? Was it a camel? What was the status of the person? This decaying body allegedly that's on the back, et cetera, et cetera. But I think I'm just going to go simple and sweet, and just give one verdict on the whole thing. And I'm going to give it a case closed.
Wow.
I'm going to say case closed. The Red Ghost of Arizona was a wayward camel from the Camel Corps with a body strapped to its back.
Okay.
The status of that body, who knows?
So you're
I
saying
don't know.
that there's no paranormal aspect
I don't
to
think
it.
it's paranormal at all. I think all of the behavior of the Red Ghost is totally in keeping with a camel.
Okay.
Scared, confused.
And it just happens to have the extremely metal coincidence of having a decaying body strapped to its back for who knows what reason.
Okay.
I think it's a lot like the Flatwoods Monster, honestly. The Flatwoods Monster is a barn owl.
Okay.
The Red Ghost is a camel.
Okay. This is a tough one because where the Flatwoods Monster was described as this alien creature, in reality we thought it was a barn owl. This is a creature that exists, but it's like some kind of weird beast or being that we don't understand. So I feel like I don't feel like I can give it case closed that it's not true. I feel like I have to give it case closed. It's confirmed. Because it is a camel that did have a dead body on its back. I believe that to be true. And I believe that it did all the things that these stories say it did. Now, do I think it's impervious to bullets? No. Do I think that it killed a grizzly bear? Maybe. Maybe we should talk about that. If we think a camel could kill a grizzly bear. I don't know. I feel like this is a weird, like, I can't give it any kind of plausibility because I do believe it was a camel. I do believe that a camel attacked and trampled a woman fetching a pail of water, as the nursery rhyme goes.
Yeah.
Jack and Jill went up the hill and got trampled by a camel.
Jack fell down.
And a camel trampled his ass.
Jack got attached to the camel's back, and his decaying body rode it forever.
So
I like it.
I feel like just because we don't have a lot of case confirms, I'm going to give it a case confirmed.
You know what? Okay, I'm going to change my verdict. I'm going to agree with you because I feel exactly the same.
Let's do it.
No, I guess my feeling was that people were saying this was some sort of demonic being,
right?
Not necessarily just a camel.
You know what? I think that thing has enough hate in its heart that it is a demonic being.
Wow, I'm not going to go that far. I won't go that far.
It's an animal of God.
It's a regular pissed off.
This is not a holy coyote.
No, this is no holy coyote. This is no demon wolf. This is just a regular pissed off, poorly treated, unaccustomed to having to survive on its own camel.
Oh, jeez. All right, Jimmy. Go ahead. If you'd like to look at the bunker scale in case you want to give it some kind of rating.
For some inspiration.
Of plausibility. You can say it's plausible plus, plausible plus plus.
Case closed?
Highly plausible. Yeah, you can call this case confirmed, though.
Okay.
Or you can say plausible minus. Plausible.
And case closed means I think it's demonic?
Case closed means you don't believe it at all.
Oh.
Case confirmed means...
Okay.
So I guess in this case, if we're saying case confirmed is that it's a camel, case closed would mean you think it's totally paranormal.
Okay.
Sure.
I thought of one story, very short.
Okay.
That I forgot to bring up. But,
go ahead. We're going to do some fun stuff after the verdicts as
okay. While I was working in logistics with at Coyote, so like truck driving and stuff like that, like dispatching truck drivers and whatnot, I had one guy who was from Ethiopia, and he would refuse to drive his truck through Arizona because he said one night he was driving through the desert and he saw these weird things in the distance on the road. And I was like, what are you talking about? So with that, case closed, it's a demon.
Whoa! There we go.
Wow.
We ran the gamut today.
Yeah, wow, we went both ends of the spectrum here.
Yeah.
That's a first.
I guess that's not the gamut. It's just a complete opposite polarities.
I think the camel, the alleged camel was something sent from hell.
Wow. To punish the cowboys who mistreated.
The white men. From the Midwest.
Yeah.
That came to Arizona.
Yeah. But undoubtedly, these people were probably not native Arizonans. These were transplants.
If you look at any cowboy, you like on their Wikipedia, like born, like Buffalo Bill, Wyatt Earp, they're all like Kansas, Missouri, Illinois boys.
Right. Yep.
Okay. Well, listeners, that was our verdict of the Red Ghost of Arizona. Let us know what you think. Tweet at us at Mr. Bunker Pod. Use the hashtag
Believe Hobbits.
Use the hashtag Believe Hobbits.
Yep.
And use the hashtag Red Rocket Ghost.
Okay, Red Rocket Ghost. Red Rocket. Yum.
Let us know what you think. Email us at MrBunkerPod@gmail.com. Slide into our DMs at Mr. Bunker Pod on Instagram. And if you want to suggest a topic for us to research on the show, just like Jimmy did, you can email us or tweet at us, and we will look into it. So now that brings us to a regular segment, Jimmy. We're going to have a little fun. We're going to do a little make-em-ups. I got a question, and I want to see what you two come up with. Andy?
Okay.
My
I'd love to hear
is,
your question.
So, if you could import an animal that is not native to America and turn it into a cryptid ghost, and you can embellish as much as you want. What's this ghost story? Why does it exist? What animal would you pick and why?
I struggle a lot with this question
Okay, you struggle with a lot of things.
Yeah, like putting my pants on. I struggle a lot with this question. Because all right, the red ghost, camels were not well known, likely, in the USA at the time.
Okay.
Again, people didn't have zoo books. They didn't have zoos, like widely available.
Mm-hmm.
So a camel was probably pretty exotic, and I think that's kind of the crux for a cryptid is it's got to be something people aren't familiar with.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And there also, I think, needs to be some sort of a fear element to it. Otherwise, people won't care as much.
Sure.
Like if it's a cuddly cryptid,
Like a red panda.
yeah, people.
No
would-
one's scared of the red panda
people-
ghost.
This wouldn't.
Yeah.
This wouldn't like impact people the same way that terror will. Like a charging camel that could trample you to death. That's scary.
Okay.
Bigfoot, a giant ape that can hurl boulders. That's scary.
Okay.
So I'm thinking like, what would it be? Maybe you pick like a humongous animal, right? And bring it here. That's not normal. But I don't think that I think that the humongous animals are too well known. Like if you brought a rhinoceros to the United States, rhinoceri are like also noted for their poor temperament.
Okay.
Because of their poor senses. But people know what a rhinoceros is. Everyone's going to be like, oh, what the hell's a rhinoceros doing here? And that would be scary, but it wouldn't be a cryptid.
Well,
People would be like the rhinoceros of Oak Park. And so I thought maybe a hippopotamus because they were known to murder humans.
they murder more humans than bees do, I think.
Yeah, they take a back seat to mosquitoes.
Mm.
But again, everybody knows what a hippo is.
Yeah.
So I thought about it some more, and I think that if I was going to make anything a cryptid, I'm going to pick something that's a little more obscure, a little more frightening for people. So what I'm thinking is a colugo. I would bring a colugo to the United States.
That's like a Indonesian jungle cat, if I'm not mistaken.
This is like a flying squirrel type animal.
It's a gliding mammal from Southeast Asia.
like a sugar glider or something.
And they look weird. They fly through the air. They hang from the trees.
Okay.
So it's kind of like a bat, but it glides, so it's got those weird skin.
It's got that silent gliding.
They're very creepy, Andy. This is a good pick. They have big bug-like eyes and a creepy little face.
My second pick.
God.
Yeah.
My second
Looks like the Mothman.
runner-up choice, just because I think that it's maybe not as I think the gliding aspect makes it creepier, because if that thing swoops down on you in the night, that's going to be terrifying.
As you're babysitting.
Right, exactly. If there's a colugo in your attic.
Babysitting a couple of sexy kids.
Sexy.
You're having a little Kahlua and a Kalugo comes and fucking starts attacking you. You know what I'm saying?
But runner-up would be the eye.
Oh, that's a good one.
Which is a primate, a nocturnal lemur native to Madagascar. And they look creepy as hell.
Now, how do you spell eye?
Oh yeah, I remember.
A-Y-E,
I remember
A-Y-E.
these.
And they have basically they're nocturnal. How they feed, they have like a long, thin middle finger. And what they do is they're like woodpeckers, basically. They drill into trees and use that finger to like pull out like bugs.
Yeah.
Wow, Andy, these are two really fucking good picks, I got to admit. And it's the eyes. It's all in the eyes. They have very creepy lemur-like eyes, little beady pupils inside of big giant nocturnal eyes.
But I think if one of these things got loose in a suburban city or something, people would be like, "Oh fuck!" And
this would start a story.
This would become a cryptid.
I think that especially if it started getting big in like areas with a big Latin American population, that the name of it would come full circle, because
oh my god,
the Mexican women would be running going, "Ay!"
It would become the ay.
My mom would be screaming, "Ay!" Yes, it is the ay.
Oh my god, Andy, these are very good
Those are
picks.
creepy.
These are good picks, Andy. So
So-
Andy's got the eye and the Kalugo.
Okay.
Jimmy?
I think I would go with something even smaller, and I don't think it would be necessarily a thing of fear. I think it would just be a little bit of uncomfortability and just what is going on with this mischievous thing. So I think I'd go with the, if my memory serves correctly, the African dwarf frog, if that is a real thing.
Ooh.
Let's see.
They're small.
Oh, it is a thing.
Okay. And I just imagine like kind of like a Stephen King novel. Like, oh, you take this thing home. It's in this little aquarium that you have. And then maybe you don't want it anymore. So you flush it down the toilet. And then it comes back. Maybe it's now just like sitting on your table. And you're like, I just threw you in the into the system, into the city's pipeline. And now you're back. And like maybe you kill it and maybe it comes back and maybe it's like.
And it just like, it's like a plague. Like the
frog
plague.
It's just one. It's just one frog.
Back.
Oh, so you want to turn it? You want to turn it into almost an invasive species?
Yes,
but just one.
Just one.
One really invasive.
But this is more like a Chucky doll sort of situations thing where it's like,
yes,
you keep trying to get rid of this thing and it will not leave. You're cursed.
Cursed, exactly. Wow. Maybe your daughter forgets her math book, so you go back home to get it, and as you're walking out, you just see it on the mantle staring at you.
Yeah, and then she comes over and she sees her stepbrother massaging his large penis.
Who does? Oh, the frog?
Yeah, the frog's stepbrother.
Is the frog having sex with the stepbrother?
Yeah, no, it's step sibling porn.
Oh, okay.
Which is very popular.
Maybe like your wine rack falls on top of you, and as you're struggling to get out as the father, you just see the little frog like in the kitchen table.
I like that, Jimmy. That's very. See, Andy went like for a very creepy animal, but you went for like a creepy curse scenario. I like that a lot.
Yeah, that's very interesting.
Very interesting.
Good spin on it.
I didn't do either of that. I just said Komodo dragon would be cool.
Yeah.
Okay.
From the island of Komodo.
But an actual dragon, it can fly.
Oh.
So you're going to import a creature that doesn't exist.
Yeah, but I'm making it. This is my cryptid. I could do whatever I want with it.
Oh, you're going to... Oh.
People say it flies. Maybe it does, maybe it doesn't. Komodo dragons are incredibly just like vicious, like impervious fucking hunters. You know, you got a little bit of Godzilla with them where they're just like, you know, these like ancient dinosaur creatures. They got this extremely venomous, disgusting saliva, giant claws, giant mandibles, and a really strong tail, and they're super fast.
Their bites are toxic, not because they produce toxins, but because of the rotting flesh in their teeth.
Yep. They just eat rotting flesh.
And you can die from it. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm going to go with a Komodo dragon. I don't know. I think a Komodo dragon just by itself would be terrifying.
They're very big.
One of those things gets out of the zoo and just starts fucking going wild, running train on some little fucking town.
Could I export an animal?
Yeah, what would
you?
I would love to deport Bigfoot to like Paris and just show these Eurotrash people what we have to deal with. All these like cool hip French Parisians, and then they got to deal with Bigfoot now in their city.
Oh, we should import the Yeti to the Pacific Northwest.
Yes,
and have it finally
find this thing.
Find Bigfoot.
Have the Yeti find Bigfoot?
Yeah. Let's work out a deal with the Yeti. Yeah, exactly.
Wow, the Yeti versus Bigfoot and a camel versus
the Thriller in Manila.
What's the abominable snowman up to these days? Or with skunk ape?
Oh yeah, the skunk ape.
Skunk ape.
It's a Cajun Bigfoot.
Yeah, I've heard of the skunk ape.
No, skunk ape. We got the skunk ape.
That's what I'm doing with Bigfoot. He's
the skunk ape down bio. He wrestling kid. That's a 6'4" kid. You a big old boy.
Get the tree meat bladder.
That's not a Bigfoot. That's a skunk ape. What is a skunk ape?
We got shrimp and Bill over here.
How do you eat your grits, skunk ape?
I dig them a skunk ape style.
Are you going to fight for the North or the South? Skunk ape.
I'm fighting for the skunk apes.
I'm with the skunk ape corps. You ever heard of the skunk ape corps?
This is my Ed Orgeron impression. Yeah, we played a pretty good game last week. We played it like the skunk ape would have done it.
I just got accepted to the University of Skunk Ape.
Oh my God.
Let's get high. Let's do some skunk ape.
Well, gentlemen, I think that's all. I think we ran the gambit. We closed the book here on the Red Ghost.
Yeah, we closed the book in 2 separate directions.
That's right.
But there are no pages open.
I like that. That feels like a quote from The Matrix.
What if I told you it is?
Is there any other last words you two want to say about this here story?
To our listeners in Arizona, thank you for giving us the gift of Jimmy. Thank you also for the gift of the Red Ghost. What a great story. This is a tremendous cryptid, and I hope that we hear more about things like this in the future.
Yeah. Great story. Jimmy, is there anything you'd like to plug?
I'd like to plug the state of Arizona. Don't sleep on it. It is truly the greatest state in the union. Check out my podcast, Mornings with Rooster.
Great podcast. Jimmy interviews a lot of up-and-coming Chicago comedians.
Well, I try to do other stuff. I've had a few random...
okay.
Yeah, I got to talk with Alan Dean Foster, who wrote the novelization of Star Wars, which was cool.
Wow, that's cool.
I usually just go through comedians because that's who I know.
Well, right. But, you know, a lot of interesting people you're talking to on Mornings with Rooster. And you have another podcast as well.
Yes, 86K. I do it with my buddy Robel. We pick a Wikipedia page, and then we do a deep dive click on it, talking shit and getting canceled. So check those out.
Both great shows. Jimmy and Robel are great. Well, Jimmy, thank you so much for joining us here in the bunker.
Thank you.
Hopefully we didn't mess up your Sunday by getting captured down here too much.
Absolutely not, yeah.
With a skunk ape.
Well, I think that only leaves one thing for the titular Mr. Bunker and for my Thonian co-host, Andy Hart. I'm Arthur Stone saying that was the whole enchilada.
Skunk ape.